Are you all set?
Yeah.
Okay. Get this on. Oops. All right. Let me just get on record real quick. So it is December 3rd, 2024. It's now 12:06 p.m. We're here, reference IA2024-0470. I am Investigator Veronica Butler. Nope, I'm Investigator Veronica LaRue, Bravo 5855.
I'm Barbara Herman, Bravo 5843.
I promise I know my name. And you being interviewed are?
Sergeant Leonard Miller, badge number 1951.
Okay. Sorry, I got married a few months ago and I keep forgetting.
Well, congrats.
Thank you. Wow. And it doesn't help that I have my old name on my template. So. Okay, real quick. Let's go over the admin documents, get them out of the way. First one is the NOI. Basically, most important part on this is obviously who you can and cannot speak to. The complaint was that you guys were unprofessional and refused to provide your names during a call for service, and failure to comply with this order will result in disciplinary action, and that's just again based on who you can and can't speak to. At the conclusion, you will have an opportunity to make a 5-minute statement, completely your choice whether you choose to or not. Do you have any questions about this? Okay, so if you want to sign, badge, and date. And we'll get copies for you before you leave. And then this is your Garrity. So important to know on this, obviously failure to be truthful, absolutely truthful during the investigation will result in termination. Compelled statements cannot be used to incriminate you in criminal proceedings. However, there are none regarding this case. Speak clearly because we are recording. Do you have any questions on this one?
No.
All right, so if you understand, you will write yes there. And then the next one is if you have any questions, yes or no. And then sign and serial. And this is the observer waiver form, just saying you are choosing to proceed without the presence of an observer. Perfect. Thank you. All right. You have an opportunity to review the documents I left with you. And did you watch your body cam?
Yes.
Perfect. Do you need any more time to review any of that?
No.
Okay. Have you had previous contact with PSB to understand the process?
Long time ago, and I just went through the PSB 40 and the PSB 8. So.
Oh, well, perfect. That's because you're a new supervisor. So that's awesome.
Fresh in your mind.
Yes. All right. So essentially, you are the last person that I'm interviewing, and I will type it up and send it on over to my chain, and then within a couple months, I would presume you will be notified of the things.
Okay.
Okay. If for any reason you don't hear from anybody and you're like, hey, you said, reach out and I'll find out where it is.
All right.
Or what phase of the process it's in. Because we're video and audio recording, please speak clearly. If you have your phone, just keep it either in airplane mode or silent, something so it's not disruptive. And at any point, if I ask a question you don't understand, let me know. I'll rephrase it. I'll do my best. And if I ask a question you don't know the answer to, just tell me you don't know. Don't try to assume what you might have done. And then if I summarize incorrectly, let me know that I'm wrong, and we will get the correct verbiage on record. Okay? So real quick, I'm retired Gilbert Police, was retired there several years back, and then came to PSB like 2 years ago. Did I worked, obviously, patrol for a number of years. Homicide, violent crimes, child crimes, and sex crimes while I was there. And Miss Barbara?
I have been here about the same time as Veronica, almost 2 years. Before working with MCSO, I worked at American Airlines, and I was on a specialty team. We investigated allegations of discrimination that our passengers were claiming happened to them, and I was with them for just over 4 years.
So, on to you. Tell me a little bit about yourself, time with office and such.
I've been with the office for now being in PSB, I'm panicking to make sure I don't get my numbers wrong. I first started with the posse in January of 2011, and because I wanted to, I knew law enforcement was something I wanted to do. In my mind, I wanted to, if I'm going to be a man worth my salt, I need to serve. Being an only child, didn't want to put my parents through the heartache of me being gone for who knows how long, all that. So my dad was posse through the 80s and early 90s, so grew up with his stories, his training. So I joined the posse to see the dead bodies, to get into the fights before I'm the one that everybody's looking at for the answers. Then I realized I should become a detention officer if I want to be a good deputy, because I saw the benefits of the deputies that were DOs before. So I was posse for about a year and a half. I started detention academy in September or October of 2012, but then 3 months prior to that, I started sworn academy out of GCC. Okay. So I went through both law enforcement academies at the same time and graduated with honors out of both.
Nice.
I finally got pulled over to deputy in November of 2013. I worked District 7, so Fountain Hills, for about 5 years, and was able to get over to Lake Patrol for about 5.5 years. So, yeah.
Very nice.
And when did you get promoted?
End of September, beginning of October.
Okay. And where do you work now?
Now District 4.
Okay. And then at some point you were an FTO?
Yes.
Okay. How long did you do that for?
I was probably an FTO at least 6-7 years.
Okay.
I was on the bench for 3 because I had a CP8 allegation. Okay. So, or maybe 3, I don't know. It was a long time.
Okay.
I know the complaint came in 2020. So,
is it still unresolved?
No, it's been resolved, thankfully. So,
right. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, to me personally, it was comical, but it's beside the point. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, we will get to this. So, apparently on August 23rd, the morning of, you responded as an agency assist to FBI. For service of an injunction against harassment. Can you tell me what you remember about that?
It was Sergeant Tapley that reached out to me, seeing this as an opportunity for my OIT to get a little experience working with just another agency. When we met with the agent, originally we thought that he was U.S. Marshals, and then find out later he's FBI. I remember in the little bit of a brief he gave, the subject that we were going to contact. I don't remember the specifics, but the thought in my mind was almost sovereign citizen. So I remember, especially like as we were approaching, I was very much on guard, really just heightened awareness, watching for cameras, things like that. So I don't even remember if he had gone over anything about who was involved in the injunction in our brief. Okay. So yeah, pretty much everything I learned about the petition was while we were there and making contact. Okay. So yeah, I remember couldn't figure out how to get to the actual house, which isn't uncommon in Desert Hills. So.
All right. Kind of answered some of those already. What was your role that day when you responded? What were you to do there?
Just backing up, being a uniform, and just a presence.
Okay. And so you kind of made a little comment about it. What information you had about him prior to responding? Did you know? Do you remember anything?
That was about it. I don't remember specifics at all. I remember my feeling of being on guard and being very cautious as we approached, just because of the little bit that he had told us about basically his behavior, his past. Like I said, I don't remember specifics, but I remember being on guard.
Okay. As a deputy, did you have any role in authorizing or authoring the petition?
No.
Okay. Who typically authors a petition?
The petition's authored by the plaintiff, the one that is filing the petition.
And you mentioned that you guys had trouble finding the place. One of the complaints was that you guys blocked the neighbors in. Do you remember the parking situation?
No, I remember I think we had parked along, there was a horse property, and if I remember correctly, we all parked on kind of the left side, but we left the road open when we got to that first location. Yeah, at no point was there any kind of blocking situation. When we got to the house, I made sure to tell my OIT to be off to the side, and I think I had mentioned kind of positioning, thinking of like tactics and engine block and all that, but I made sure that we were kind of hugging that corner, that way there was route out.
Okay.
Because also I was thinking if things went bad, we needed that roadway to be able to evacuate or whatnot.
Okay. Did you guys have any contact with any of the neighbors?
No.
Okay. And did you, prior to responding, did you know any of the involved parties for the injunction?
No.
And then, so kind of, you touched on it already, maybe. Did you know, one of his allegations was that because he was a foreigner, he was mistreated. Prior to contacting him, did you know anything about his race or ethnicity?
No.
Did his race or ethnicity play any role in how he was treated by you?
No.
Did you have any, or what contact did you have directly with him?
At one point during the conversation, it started amicable, and then especially the conversation between him and the agent, they started kind of going in circles. And initially my thought was, this is the feds thing, just stay back, because I don't know anything about it. Once we got to a point where, oh, now I'm recognizing, because it's involving the county attorney, so now we're talking an elected official, that's why the feds are involved. And that's where my thought when I did speak was to be direct, to try to, just as an opportunity to know, this is why. I hadn't spoken to that point. I thought if I speak directly, it would have the potential of answering any questions and quelling any confusion that he had. After that, it clicked out. He's just going to be confrontational. So at this point, negotiations have ceased. Basically, I saw that we were going nowhere.
All right. So on that, can you, how would you describe his demeanor? I know that you said initially it seemed amicable, and then at what point do you think it changed, or how did it change?
It started because he started asking specific questions. Really, when he started asking about, like, how did you find out about that, and what email, but there was no mention of an email on our side. So, like, just it started when he started really prying. That's where I was like, okay, we're getting off track. This is the petition. We are serving this. If you want to go to court and appeal it, you can, which was mentioned. But this is why we're here. This is why the feds are here. Kind of hoping to, like, we're done. So we're not gonna play court on the side of the road, kind of thing.
Did you hear at any time anyone there threaten him with federal prison if he did not stop criticizing Rachel Mitchell?
No.
Okay. And did you make any threats to him?
No.
Did you hear or tell him to shut up at any point?
No.
Did anyone else tell him to shut up?
No.
Alright. And at any point, did he ask you directly for your name and badge?
No.
Did he ask anybody?
Just the federal agent. He was hyper focused on him from what I saw, what I heard.
Okay. And then he mentioned, and you saw in the complaint, about deputies having their hands on the gun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I showed you the picture that he sent. Can you, I know you've already touched on it a little bit, can you kind of describe that again to me?
That's, to be completely honest, how I approach almost every house I come up to. And I had somebody else send me probably the same links, so
Okay.
I saw the little snippet of me just bring my gun up out of the holster, just a touch, and putting it back.
Is that a new post he's posted somewhere then?
I don't know if it's new or old or what.
Yeah.
So
okay, I imagine that's probably what happened.
It's like a 2-second thing. Of,
right.
And that's something where, whether it's a little old lady or a convicted felon, and that's where I come up. And especially with where I was positioned, I had canted myself so that way, okay, my hand on my gun wasn't in view, being so far back, canting a little bit. So I checked it and then put my hand here. That's in initial contact with anybody. That's where I put my hand. Once it's safe, okay, cool.
Okay.
And the little pop up and down. My dad, so he was posse years ago, and he's actually back with the office. We had an incident where we had to go hands on with somebody, rolled with them, and then later on in the day he couldn't pull his gun because rocks had gotten in the holster. So it's kind of become a thing for me just to check, okay, we're good. So but yeah, that was it.
Okay. And do you have anything?
I do not, no.
That day your role was as the FTO to
Harissa.
Right.
And just with contact with neighbors, it's just in my mind. I saw in the video there was in one of the videos, like, we were walking. It hard to tell, and I didn't look at it that long, but almost like there was somebody else when we had approached that road. And in the video, it looked like there was somebody else. I don't remember if we had any kind of. Well, no, he mentioned that we had talked to a neighbor. Maybe one of the others had talked to a neighbor.
I think when I spoke to him, he thought what he said was that ask for the address if they knew, that you guys asked if anyone knew where his house was located.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember if we had stopped at that first road and like looked at Google Maps, or maybe there was somebody else coming out. I don't know. But then seeing that video, it's like, okay, maybe there was somebody coming out. But either way, I myself didn't make contact with anybody.
And so you're referring to the videos he posted on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay. And I think they were all YouTube videos. There were two that I saw. One is when you guys are leaving, he starts recording.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one you're referring to, I believe it does show like another person at their driveway or somewhere a little off in the distance. And that's just a quick little snippet of a video. Okay,
Yeah.
so those are
and
the ones.
I mean, yeah, when you said neighbors, I'm thinking, okay, in that little cul-de-sac, and we didn't like go door to door or anything like that.
Okay.
So.
All right. All right. Is there anything else that I didn't ask about that you think is important for us to know?
No.
All right. Did you have any?
I have nothing.
All right. Like I mentioned, you're entitled to a 5-minute statement if you wish to give one. Nope, you're good. All right. Well, it is 12:26, and we will get all the recordings off and get you hot.